Hey guys, I hope y'all are having a wonderful day today. So we're going to be revisiting the new Kosas Revealer Foundation. So I tested this out in my last video and I kept saying that it was reminding me of another foundation. So we're going to try this one out again, but we're going to do it side by side up against the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. So I'm going to apply both of these. We'll see how they're similar. We'll see how they're different. And then of course, we're going to be doing a wear test so I can see which one I like the best. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I really love both of these foundations and I think I'm gonna like the Kosas one better because I was just so blown away when I reviewed this, but I really like this one too, so I'm really interested to see how this is gonna turn out. So let's start off with the Nars foundation, and I think I'm gonna apply it on this side of the face, so I will give you guys all of the main details about each of the foundations as I'm applying them. Okay, so the Nars Light Reflecting Advanced Skincare Foundation, it retails for $49. It's available in 36 shades and I will be applying the shade Caracas. This one has a medium coverage with a natural finish. It's supposed to be good for redness, dullness, uneven texture, and dark spots. Some of the main ingredients, the highlighted ingredients I should say, are biometric oat, which improves clarity, Japanese lily turf, which supports a strong skin barrier by helping your skin to maintain moisture, as well as cacao peptides and milk thistle, which helps minimize the negative effects of blue light and environmental stressors. So I'm going to be applying just one coat of each of the foundations and then we'll go back and we'll build them up. Okay, one quick note before we move on to the Kosas foundation side. So I wanted to use brushes for today because I did use a sponge with the Kosas foundation yesterday, and today I just wanted to test it out with a brush. I can't find one of the brushes that I usually use for these side-by-side comparison videos. I like to use two brushes that have pretty much the same level of density to like even out the playing field. So this is the brush that I used for the Nars foundation. This one over here I'm going to be using for the Kosas foundation. This one is a bit more dense than this brush. However, I already know that the Kosas foundation is not going to give me quite as much coverage as the Nars one. So even with a denser brush, that's not going to like alter the coverage. So I felt like that was the fairest way to do it. So I hope that makes sense. But I just wanted y'all to know that because I usually use this brush and my Merit Beauty brush. I can't find my Merit Beauty brush. But anyway, let's move on to the Kosas foundation. So the Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation has SPF 25 in it. It's a medium coverage with a natural finish, and it's also supposed to be good for dullness and uneven texture, and it's supposed to be very hydrating. The highlighted ingredients in this one are niacinamide and caffeine, which brightens and smooths the skin, squalene, arnica, and provitamin B5, which calms and balances the skin, and peptides and hyaluronic acid, which visibly plumps, firms, and hydrates the skin. This one retails for $42 and it's also available in 36 shades, and I will be using the shade 340. Okay, so over here we have the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation, and over here we have the Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation. So one thing I wanted to note, you might have noticed that I put on 2 pumps of the Nars foundation as opposed to 1 pump of this. The pumps are really small on this one, so I feel like 2 pumps equals 1 pump of this. So outside of that, like I pretty much applied them the same way, and I am already noticing just a slight difference between the two. They're both giving me a good amount of radiance, but as I expected, the Kosas one to me looks a lot more radiant. Like it just looks very dewy over here. The Nars one is giving me some radiance, but I feel like on this side the radiance is looking a bit more natural because this just looks like super dewy to me right now. But other than that, I think that they look pretty much the same. And the Nars one, the shade is a little darker, so I already knew that was going to be different too because this Kosas one is a pretty good shade match for me. The Nars one is just a little too dark. But outside of that, I would say that they are quite similar so far. I always like to show you guys how foundations build up if they do in fact build up. So we are going to go in with one more layer on each side, and as usual I'm going to concentrate that second layer right on the cheeks. That's always where I want the most coverage. So let's go back to the Nars foundation, and I'm just going to do 1 pump this time. I'm going to take a little bit of that extra. I don't like the way that this pumps out. The pumps are like really small and they squirt really fast, so I do think that the pumps can kind of get messy with this one. So I'm just going to blend this out like right on the cheek area where I want a little extra coverage. And I do recall when I did my video on this one that this Nars foundation is really nice and buildable. I do consider it medium coverage, but I think it's like a higher medium coverage compared to the Kosas one. So as you can see, a good amount of stuff just got covered up by that second layer of the Nars foundation. And then same thing over here, I'm gonna put a little bit more of the Kosas foundation. So I'm doing like a half a pump of that just so that it's the same as what I did over here. And then I'm just going to concentrate this right on the cheek area as well. And I just did my video on the Kosas foundation yesterday, so I just remember that this foundation is just like slightly buildable. Like I do know that the Nars one, it is a little bit more of a buildable formula, but this one will only give you just a little bit more coverage with a second layer, but I do think it is a true medium coverage like it claims to be. Okay, so we have both of the foundations on, built up to a really nice medium coverage. So let me know which one you guys like best. I'm gonna go ahead and put my concealer on off camera, and then by then I can show you guys how both of the foundations have set down. Okay, so the foundations have been sitting on my face for about 5 minutes now. I went ahead and put my concealer on, and then I set just my immediate under eye area. So again, this is the Nars side, and this is the Kosas side. So let me know if you guys are liking one better than the other. Do you notice any similarities or any differences? I think that the Kosas one is definitely more hydrating, more of a radiant and glowy finish. It's definitely not as glowy as when I first put it on because it is nice and set now, but I do still think that I'm getting more of a radiance, more of a glow on this side compared to the Nars side. The Nars one is still giving me a nice healthy looking glow, but I feel like more so on the Kosas side. So far, I think that I'm leaning toward Kosas, but I think I'm being swayed because this one is a better shade match. So I feel like up against the Kosas foundation, the Nars is just noticeably more darker, because this one matches me better. Like I can definitely wear the Nars one. I've been wearing it like crazy since I got it, but it is a little bit darker, whereas the Kosas one is definitely a better shade match. So outside of the shades being different, and then outside of me getting just a bit more of a radiance over here, I do feel like the way that they're laying on the skin and the way that they're looking, the way that they are making my skin look, I do think that they're wearing pretty similar. So let me know if you would agree. So I want to show you guys how I'm going to set both of the foundations. So lately I have been setting all of my foundations with the Kosas powder, but I feel like to be fair, I should use one that's kind of like neutral. So I'm not going to use my Kosas powder with my Kosas foundation. So instead I'm going to be using my Sephora Micro Smooth powder. This used to be my go-to powder before I switched over to Kosas. So I'm going to be setting both of the foundations with this. So I'm going to be picking some of the powder up on my brush here. I like to get a good amount of powder on the brush and then tap off the excess. And then I'm just gonna press the powder into the skin. And I just like to make sure that I'm getting all of the areas around my under eye. I did set the under eye area with the Kosas powder, but like I said, I didn't want to use the Kosas powder with the Kosas foundation because I feel like that would give it a leg up, you know? Okay, so even after we set it, I feel like it's pretty much the same thing. Like this side over here is giving me a little bit more of a radiance even through the powder. Both of them still look really good, but I do feel like I'm leaning toward Kosas. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my makeup, and then we will get into our wear test. Okay guys, here is my look for today. I'll have everything that I'm wearing in the description box in case you wanna know what I use for today. But here's one more look before we start our wear test. So again, over here we have the Nars foundation, and then over here we have the Kosas foundation. So let me know if you have a favorite so far, but of course the true test is going to be how they wear during the day. So let's get started with our wear test. I'll check in with you guys at some point, and then hopefully I will make it to 8 hours, and then I'll come back and give y'all my final thoughts and let y'all know which one I like best. Okay, so it's 8:15 in the morning. Oh, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. It's 8:15 in the morning, so I will see y'all a little bit later on. Okay guys, here we are at at the halfway mark, so it's been about 4 hours. This is what my face is looking like. So this over here is the Nars foundation. And this over here is the, I was about to say Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Kosas foundation. So let me know what you guys are thinking. I feel like they look very, very similar. Like, I really can't tell a difference between the two aside from the shade. Like, the Nars one is still looking darker to me, which is to be expected because it is a little too dark. But other than that, I think they look super, super similar. So I would have to like really nitpick at this point to see if, you know, anything is different from one to the other. I think they both look really, really good. So I will see y'all in about 4 more hours. Okay guys, I am back. It is going on 5 o'clock. So we made it to 9 hours today. It might be closer to like 8.5, but it's somewhere between 8.5 and 9 hours. And this is what my face is looking like. So again, this is the Nars side over here. And this is the Kosas side over here. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Do you notice anything different, anything the same? Like, let me know in the comments. So I think that they are pretty much the same. I think that they are wearing pretty much like laying the same on my skin. I think I have the same level of shine going on both sides of my face. The only difference that I can see is that the Kosas side, the shade matches a little bit better. So it is making the Nars one just look slightly more like my skin is tanned because it's just a little bit darker. But other than that, I mean, to me, they're exactly the same. I think that they wore pretty much the same. So if I had to choose between the two of these, I would say that my favorite, my personal favorite, is going to be Kosas, but that's more so because of the shade match. Like, this one just looks a little bit better because it just matches me better. But in terms of which one I would recommend to you all between these two, I really don't have a favorite. In terms of that, I think that you guys would enjoy both of these foundations equally. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments. So if you can think of any other foundation versus foundation videos that you would like for me to do, please let me know. I really hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel before you head out, and I will see y'all back here for my next one. Until then, take care. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.